enjoying this page alone today. Tons of great stuff on there, actually. Think you really have to blow up the CD? You what? The domino. You blew up the domino! And you're laughing. Do you realize the fucking price is here?
And you will be next. Unless you subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications right now.
Or else you'll aggressively scream another man's name for several hours.
Kakarot! Kakarot!
Oh dear, I feared that it would come down to this, for as we stand at the precipice of a daunting challenge, my apprehensions have grown. And as the demon realm begins to stir once again, it would only now appear as though the Dark Masters have returned as the harbingers of chaos once again. And in facing this dire threat, we all must stand united in purpose and resolute in action, for if this situation continues to grow worse, then we will be left with no other choice than to rise to the occasion and fight for the sake of preserving the multiverse by any means necessary, because if we don't, then it could very well mean the end of all life across the cosmos as we know it.
As our story now continues back inside of the Demon Realm with the giant Leviathan from here on, them being shown having to pull the giant Super Dragon Balls forward, as with the Dark Master Toro being shown having to further give commands to the Leviathan in pulling the Super Dragon Balls forward, was when Toro then went on to respond, "Yes, right this way, my faithful giant, and with everything going just as I had foreseen, we have everything that we need right here with us right now. And speaking of, alas, the last of the Super Dragon Balls has finally been delivered." But it was only just as the Dark Masters Drogo and Bakara were from that point then shown making their way through was when Bakara then went on to shout, "We come to you with both good and bad news, Master Toro, for even though we were able to find and retain the last of the Super Dragon Balls that we needed, there is but another problem that Jogo and I had ran into," with Jogo chiming in, "One of the angels who goes by Whis in the 7th universe had confronted us as we were retrieving the final Super Dragon Ball," with Bakara responding, "And to make matters worse, he plans to go and take action against us, assuming that he'd go and speak with the Grand Priest about the things that he was able to feel and see, Lord Toro," with Toro responding, "Then if one of those angels was able to catch on and see what you were doing, then it's more than likely that the others will soon follow as well. Which is why we must do what it is that we need to in order for this to work in our favor," Toro continues, "and while we still have the time, we must hurry and go into one of the sacred rooms of spirit and time and proceed with the plan. For we must remain vigilant at all times, for our next move will be a very important one where we will finally enact our grand design. And with the Super Dragon Balls, we will shift reality into our favor by bending their power in order to maximize their potential in secrecy. For there are but a few problems that we must go and deal with first, so it's best to not waste any more time," Toro continues, "and with the room that I have selected, finding our exact location will not be as easy even for those angels as one may think. Now let us move." To which in the meantime, when then venturing back over onto Earth and seeing as to how both Gohan and Piccolo were from there shown having to pay a visit to both Bulma and Dr. Hedo, was when Gohan then went on to respond, "Hey you guys, sorry to just drop in unannounced like this, but well, me and Piccolo came here because we have something very urgent that we would like your help on," with Piccolo responding, "And although we know that what we're about to tell you both may seem a bit crazy, but well, if we don't start to get down to the bottom of things right now, then this may turn out to be a much bigger problem than we thought," with Dr. Hedo having to chime in, "Hey look Bulma, it's Gohan and Piccolo, and it looks like they've had a pretty rough day on their hands as well," with Bulma responding, "Hey you guys, well what brings the two of you in here that would require our help, and what happened to you guys?" "Well, I'll go off on a limb and take a guess and say that they've been in a fight, right?" Dr. Hedo questions, with Piccolo having to respond, "Something anything like that, but here, we found ourselves engaging against some kind of a demon, and after finally getting rid of him, we found this here, Piccolo presents. It's a piece of that creature's horn that was on its head, so is there any way that the two of you can tell us more about what exactly these things are by taking a blood sample of this here? Wait, do you mean to tell us that this thing here is what was actually on a demon's body? Dr. Hedo went on to question. How wacky. Well, for one, the blood certainly looks different. Yeah, no kidding, Bulma chimes in. And this thing looks really dense, almost like it was designed to withstand anything with the way it feels. Oh, well, I'm not sure as to what we could find right away, Bulma continues, but if you give us some time, I'm sure we could figure something out here, with Dr. Hedo chiming back in. Well, from the looks of it, its blood doesn't appear to be acidic, but, well, depending on its genetic makeup, I'm sure that samples of its power, or at least what this thing is made of, could be found within its DNA coding, which, well, that itself will also take a bit of time to get down to the bottom of. Well, whatever kind of information that we can go and get out of this thing, Bulma responds, is probably something that is worth looking into, especially if it's got Piccolo and Gohan all worked up. So let's just go and see what we can find then, Dr. Hedo, and just hope for the best. With Dr. Hedo responding, well, we might as well go on ahead and scan this thing by using the bone density scanner over there, so let's go and give it a read. To which a few moments later, as Dr. Hedo had continued his research and having to look deeper into this horn, was when Dr. Hedo went on to respond, well, this is certainly fascinating. The readings on this thing are all over the place with what I'm getting here, Bulma. Yeah, I can see that, Bulma responds. This horn's molecular structure is unlike anything that I've ever encountered before, with Piccolo having to address Gohan by then responding, well, let's just hope that we were able to nail that thing into making sure that it never comes back again, because I have a very bad feeling about this, Gohan. Yeah, no kidding, Gohan responds. And with the way they're describing as to what they're seeing, I can only imagine as to what they're going to find in that thing, but I'm also very curious to know more about this myself as well, with Dr. Hedo having to chime back in. There's a pattern of genetic complexity here that's absent in many of the species that we have in our data system, but what's even more interesting is that it looks as though whatever this creature was that Gohan and Piccolo were fighting against has some kind of paralyzing toxin within it, Dr. Hedo continues, as I'm starting to believe that the nature of this creature, and perhaps others like it, isn't just a product of their environments, but a fundamental aspect of their genetic code. Almost like an evolutionary marvel, with Bulma having to then question, interesting, so what are we looking at here then if these things are supposed to be so much more of an evolutionary marvel, with Dr. Hedo responding, well, this could be a lot deeper than what we see on the surface, so it'll take a bit of time, but let's just see what else we can go and dig up first, because, well, the more information that we can gather, the better. To which all the while, when then going back into the demon realm, we only from that point then continue to bear witness to the battle involving Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku and his Shadow Demon, as Goku went on to rush on forward by then responding, I have dealt with many doppelgangers in my life before, and so this isn't going to be any different than what I dealt with in my past before, so let's do this. The fool doesn't seem to understand that this is no ordinary doppelganger that he is dealing with, the demon scientist Sugami went on to chime in. This is him, only a much darker and more twisted variant of who and what this Goku is at his very core. And soon he will come to find out that fighting these shadow demons isn't going to be as easy as he may assume for it to be. Now just imagine on how much more effective these would be for us, the Dark Master Gira responds, if we went and created more of these shadow demons by using the blood from the most powerful warriors in the multiverse. None of these mortals would even come close in standing a chance, let alone in reaching us if they tried. Actually, Lord Gira, that very plan has already been set into motion, for I have started the process of creating new shadow demons, with each of them mirroring different beings from across the multiverse, with Gira responding, very good news indeed, Sugami, for I wonder on just how far these mortals will try and go if it means fighting for the sake of protecting their precious little universe from what's coming. Yes, and so either way, they will all fail to stop us in the end. As in the meantime, with Goku's Shadow Demon now shown having to get the better of Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku by seemingly having to overwhelm him, was when Gira then went on to continue, and while the Saiyan mortal was shown to put up a decent enough battle against our superior Shadow Demon, I think it is now now clear as to where he stands in comparison to his polar opposites. For there is nothing that I can see this Saiyan being able to do if his hands are tied behind his back, Sugami. With Sugami having to respond, then I am glad to know that you are pleased with the results of this brief battle, my lord, as I will make sure that all of our Shadow Demons reign supreme over the originals, to which as the Shadow Demon was then shown kicking Goku away, it had only become painfully clear now that it seemed as though Goku was at a significant disadvantage, as Sugami then went on to continue, and with what I see, I think it's safe to assume that with the Saiyan struggling to adapt to the Shadow Demon, despite of course the Shadow Demon adapting to the original, Son Goku's efforts in overcoming our experiment are dwindling. And what better way to put an end to our little show than by having him sent flying right over here, for he never stood a chance, Gira continues. For there is a lesson to be learned throughout all of this, and a lesson that I hope that he takes note of very cautiously, as what you are about to experience will be a revelation in learning of the difference between us, as you will soon understand that your place in the cosmos is not at the top of the mountain, Gira continues, as you will soon understand that your place in the cosmos is not at the top of the mountain, but beneath the heel of a true demon's terror, Son Goku, as I will go and break you down from the inside out, shattering not just your body, but your spirit as well, Saiyan. Now let this serve as a reminder, Goku, that you and your kind will never succeed in stopping us. To which, shockingly enough, from out of nowhere, as Gira had proceeded in connecting a single solitary strike to Goku's spine and now having to completely tear apart Goku's spirit from within, was when Sugami then went on to respond, "Yes, this is your chance to put the Saiyan down and out of his misery for good, fellow demon. So now use this momentum to finally shut this Saiyan down and prove to Lord Gira as to why I've placed my trust in you. Show that Saiyan as to why you are superior in every single way, demon!" To which, moments later, with Goku's body ricocheting towards the Shadow Demon, with the Shadow Demon now seizing this opportunity and elbowing Goku in the stomach, it was only just between with the two attacks now having to take a toll on him, where Goku was from there shown powering back down, as Gira then went on to respond, "Excellent, and with that, so falls the mighty Goku." What did she just do to me? I can't hold on to my power. To where this was now it, because with Goku now being shown dropping on down and essentially being knocked out by both of these attacks having to take a toll on his body, was when Sugami then went on to continue, "You never cease to amaze me, Lord Gira, especially since it's been a very long time since I've seen you use your spirit distortion technique, but alas, these mortals, no matter how powerful they claim to be, often go and leave themselves wide open by letting their emotions dictate the course of their battles for them. For it is a mortal flaw that ultimately becomes their undoing," Sugami continues. "They fight with feelings, leaving their defenses vulnerable, just as our clone was able to find and exploit by the very end. And although these Shadow Demons may not be able to grow stronger in a traditional sense, their strength lies in their ability to adapt during the course of any battle, as they are already at their peak from the moment of their creation, my master," with Gira having to respond, "And with this test successful, we have proven that our demon clones are more than capable of contending against the originals, which only now means that more will be created for when the time comes for us to make our move, Sugami. For you have done well to prove yourself and your creation, but for now, we will go and put our guest right back to where he belongs in the meantime, as for now, we must turn our attention to the other threats that loom, as Goku was but one small piece in a far larger puzzle. So we will go and keep him here until Lord Toro calls for his life to be ripped away, right after Lord Raijin is wished to be set free, of course. But let us not forget that we must remain vigilant until that time is right," Gira continues, "and so we must be ruthless in our pursuit, leaving no stone unturned and no realm unexplored in our quest, Sugami. So in the meantime, we will continue to refine our army and collect the Super Dragon Balls while our friend remains within his cage," Gira continues, "as it's for the best since this Saiyan still poses a threat to our plans, so we cannot run the risk of having him roam freely within our domain. For our maneuvers must be cloaked in the shadows and our intentions hidden until the moment is right, for when it is that we finally strike, it will be with such force and precision that the entire entire multiverse will have no other choice but to ultimately yield to our very will, Sugami. But little did anyone know that far off in the distance, as the demon Kibi was shown having to oversee all of this, was when Kibi then went on to say to himself, and I can't help but wonder, as the more I ponder on the truth, the more I continue to question. What if this Goku is not the harbinger of doom that we have labeled him out to be, Kibi questions. I don't trust this Saiyan, not by a long shot, but what if his presence here in the demon realm is truly but a result of circumstances beyond his control, or worse, what if the things that he was saying had actually turned out to be true? Could bringing back the fallen angel Murno truly be something that will destroy us all, Kibi questions? Are they all not made well aware of the things that this fallen angel could do to us if he were to somehow be revived? Or do they simply not care, for I didn't sense any lies that were coming from him, and so therefore there must be more to him than what any of us could see on the surface, Kibi continues, for I can go and destroy him right now if I just so choose, but maybe it is best for him to go back to where he came from rather than remain here where he currently is. There was no way that he could have pulled off a victory with Master Gira there having to oversee this entire battle, which only means that they were simply keeping him here so that they could use him for his combat prowess and his blood samples. But who are you, Saiyan? At your very core, who are you, Kibi questions? He could have went and ended my life when he struck me, but he didn't and decided to spare me. Well then, if you had found it within you to let me live, then I owe you the favor, but not without getting something out of you while you're still here. For I can't go and let anyone see me, but for what it's worth, you better give me all of the information that I seek, because once this is done is when you and I can call it even. To which, in the meantime, when then venturing back on over onto Beerus' planet and seeing as to how Beerus was relaxing by eating a set of grapes as Vegeta was shown reading the book that Whis had given him, while continuing to not think much of it and having to look on over and seeing as to how Vegeta was fixated on this book, was when Beerus went on to then chime in, tell me something, having any luck by getting anything useful out of that book that you're reading there, Vegeta? For you've been very quiet now for the last half hour, so you better not go and get too lost while flipping through those pages, with Vegeta responding, well, this book has actually given me a bit of information on how those demons down there in the demon realm operate, along with providing me with certain spells and techniques on how to engage against some of them, but I'm trying to decipher its methods and how they are done in battle. For there appears to be more in this book that talks about these demons and how to engage against them than you may think. Oh really, is that so? Beerus went on to then question. Well good, because maybe you'll go and clear them all out of my universe if you manage to actually learn of some of these techniques on how to get rid of them, Beerus continues. And besides, if anyone thinks that any of those demons stand any sort of chance against the Destroyer God, and especially after having battled against that angel Murno, then they have another thing coming, for I will not hesitate to do what must be done in battle. But then, it was only to the sudden shock of both Beerus and Vegeta where a voice from out of nowhere then went on to chime in, I would slow your roll down if I were you, Destroyer, for you have no idea on what we are or whom you are dealing with. So unless the two of you have some sort of a death wish that you wouldn't mind us having to grant, well then we'll be happy enough to see that through for you, with Beerus having to then question, what did you just say? And you dare arrive on my planets without my approval? Oh, now you've done it, for I will not tolerate any kind of disrespect towards me on my planet. That's right, Destroyer, the Demon Haas went on to return by responding. However, we weren't sent to come back here so that we can lay back and eat grapes all day either, for we're actually on a mission to get something. And so one way or another, whether either of you like it or not, we will get what we came here for, as I promise you both that it won't take long if you just go ahead and do the right thing here, and just simply give us what we want, so that way we'll be on our merry little way, understand? And since we already had extracted what we needed from you back on Earth, Saiyan, me and Oru here were sent to come and collect something from that god of destruction while we're in the 7th universe. And don't try and assume that we're alone either, for we demons tend to have eyes and ears all around you, with the demon Oru responding, we came here for a sample of your Destroyer's blood, so give us what we were sent here to collect or you will be destroyed destroyed, for our time in this universe is limited. And so now what will it be? Will you both choose to comply, or shall we engage? With Vegeta responding, as if I'll allow for what happened on Earth before to happen here again. You fools have no idea on what you just did by coming here. And as far as I'm concerned, the two of you won't be going back with anything, not while I'm here. The one with the big mouth, is that him? Oro went on to then question. Is that the one that Sugami had told us to use the vial on? Has? It must be him, with the demon has responding, oh yes, that's him alright, but we'll use our reserves just in case we run into any trouble. They were only on my planet for no less than a few minutes and I'm already tired of listening to them speak, Beerus went on to then sit up by responding, as I'm not really in the mood to go and do it myself, but you and Goku owe me for ruining my ice cream, so now destroy them, Vegeta. To which upon Vegeta being shown now having to crack his knuckles in slowly making his way towards the demons was when Vegeta then went on to respond, I'm already 3 steps ahead of you, Lord Beerus. Go and take my blood back on Earth now, will you? Alright, demons. It's time that we get up close and personal for a moment, so that way we can get to know each other a little better. And so with that said, which one of you will be first? As it was only right then and there now during that moment where the Beyond Dragon Ball Super Story of the Dark Masters, the official Murnal sequel, manga chapter number 9 special, then comes to a close. Now you can make no mistake about the fact that number 1, with all 4 of the Dark Masters now having complete access to all 7 of the Dragon Balls and now looking to make their way into one of the hyperbolic time chambers to use them, as with some of the many advantages that come with this, such as time acceleration and being within the time chamber by using the Dragon Balls, one could only go as far as to imagine as to what their first wish among many is going to be, to which on top of this, with Goku now ending up right back to where he had started after initially being knocked out by both the Demon Master Gira and the Shadow Demon that he was fighting, it would only now appear as though from a distance the Demon Kibi seems to be growing on Goku and noticing something very, very interesting, to which you do not want to miss this and so much more that's coming, including the battle involving Demon Oru and Vegeta coming up next, which will be made available for access right now on my Patreon for those of you out there that are members to see. So if you would not only want to support the fan manga content that you see on this channel, but also gain exclusive access and content, as well as my soundtracks, art, PNGs, and so much more, then I do encourage for you guys to become a member of my Patreon today, patreon.com/UnrealEntGaming, in which I will go on ahead and leave that link located down in the description box below and pinned comment section below as well, as all of this, and I mean everything that you guys have seen go down within the story of the Dark Masters thus far, is only the tip of the iceberg to what's coming. So as the story continues to unfold and as things begin to develop, you guys are going to see firsthand exactly as to how dangerous of a situation this is going to become, and I can't wait to show you guys as to how this is all going to unfold. So once again, I want to thank you all so much for watching and thank you all so much for being here, to which as always, if you also just so happen to be new to this channel and of course love Dragon Ball and anime, then I do encourage for you guys to head on over and smash that subscribe button, on top of making sure to give this video a big fat thumbs up by smashing that like button down below if you guys enjoyed. Tune back in for more, and with all that being said, I want to thank you all so much for your time, patience, kindness, and support, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you down in the comment section below and in the next video. Take it easy everybody and have a great day. Peace.
Hold it right there. Now, when did I say that we were finished? Because I didn't. For there is still so much more that's left for us to show you. So I'd stay right where you are if I were you. And now that you're here, we do hope that you all sit back and enjoy the following things that you're about to see, because we have all worked very hard in giving you the very best that we possibly can. So don't forget to subscribe to UnrealEntGaming before you go, and don't forget to give this video a like and comment down below. You still, of course, would like for me to train you, don't you? Well, if you do, then we hope you all sit back and enjoy.
遊び足んねえぜ。弱虫相手じゃ嬉しかねえな。お遊びが過ぎたんじゃねえか。あん時のことは水に流そうや。
おかしな神もいたものだ。正直お前との戦いを楽しみにしていた。お前も成長しているようだが、まだ俺には勝てん。もうお前は武道家ではない。無理をするな。修行が足りんようだな。そういえば俺も昔はお前と同じ悪人だったな。
地球での屈辱、俺が忘れたと思うな。俺様の顔に傷をつけてくれた礼をしなくちゃな。すぐに仲間に合わせてやる。あの世でな。なんだその面は。 下級選手なんかが俺様に挑むんじゃなかったな。
見つけたわ。
調子のいい相手にどう攻めるか。
そうだとしたら、なんでブルマの一味は武力で一気に地球を乗っ取ろうとしないんだ。
いきなり人の部屋に入ってきてノックぐらいしたらどうなの？
なかなか面白い戦いになりそうだな。まさかこの対決を見る日が来ようとはな。
僕が勝ったのか？あなたは自分でも信じられないな。
僕の皮膚はある程度の衝撃に耐えられるように。
願いが残ってるのね。その願い私がもらうわ。
特殊な薬を注射してやるからね。要するに力ずくで自分の思い通りの世界にしたいってことかな。敵はかなり手強そうだな。
遅いわね。あんたはそういう人よね。出してもらえばいいのよ。
昔と同じく世界征服だとしたら
1000万ゼニーでピチピチギャル子 4,5 人よこしてくれる？地底の奥にあるこの物質を取ってきて。
まだ子供だった頃、レッドリボン軍の影響を受けた祖父のことを両親は嫌っていたからね。言っておくけど銃に脅されたからじゃないよ。
おとなしくしていれば苦しまなかったのに、おやつの方から来てくれるなんて美味しそうではあるのだけれど、永久エネルギー炉って食べられるのかしら。どっちの方が強いのか、せいぜい頑張りなさい。
こんなはずじゃ、ちくしょう。私は正しい世を作り上げる。
武術の鍛錬は続けておったんじゃろうな。お主、なぜ悪に走る？技が泣いておるぞ。さて、手加減なしだぞ。老いぼれを侮ると足元を救われるぞよ。こりゃ骨の折れる相手じゃの。武道家としてさらなる高みに進んだようじゃの。やれやれ、こりゃ大変そうな相手じゃの。殺し屋とはあまり感心せんの。ブロッコリーとやわしに勝てるかの？
わざわざ仕切り直してあげるなんてずいぶん優しいじゃない。一人減らしたからって調子に乗ってるみたいね。一人倒れたからって必死になっちゃってバカね。弱いやつはやられる、当然のことじゃない。二人がかりってまあお子様の力なんだから仕方ないか。こんなに思いっきりやられても助けてくれる人はいないなんてね。私の体力を全回復させなさい。いいわ、ますます食べたくなっちゃう。ようやく本気を出したのね。私待ちくたびれちゃった。まずは数で押していくってこと？子供騙しの相手なんて。
悔しいですが、奴の強さはやはり本物ですね。こいつは一体何なんだ。人を食べるなんて、そんな。なんだこの強力な牙。見ているこっちも吹き飛ばされそうだ。むちゃくちゃなのに威力は桁違いだ。何なんだこいつは。おそらく確実に決めるつもりなのでしょう。あの状況からここまで、さすがに予想できませんでした。味方のフォローが入りましたね。実力はほぼ互角。どうなるか分かりませんね。これほど大きなダメージを受けたとなると相当厳しい戦いになりますね。最初から飛ばしていますね。それだけ本気ということでしょう。
ようやく力の出し惜しみをやめたのか。思ったよりも2人の動きの相性は悪くないな。
一人倒して調子に乗り出したな。まったく
悪くない攻撃だ。波の戦士では太刀打ちできないだろうな。
少しはやる気になったみたいだね。少しは危機感が出てきただろうね。心配しなくてもこれだけで勝敗は決まらないさ。さてここからどう動くだろうね。
死ぬ前に見せてやるぞ。その程度か。やはりこの肉体に乗り換えて正解だったようだ。弱すぎる。父親の肉体の足元にも及ばんな。せめてウーブと合体してから挑んでくるべきだったな。話にならん。お前の父の罪、今こそ償ってもらうぞ。
相手が誰でも全力を出す。それが私の戦いだ。 ああ、かかってくるがいい。受けて立つぞ。
こんなふざけた野郎でもそれなりにはやるようだな。ヘラヘラしやがって。貴様はまたこの俺が倒してやる。貴様を倒すのはこの俺だ。
覚悟はいいな。私の炎で全てを焼き尽くしてやろう。
その肉体にどれほどの力があるか試してやろう。
気に入らんな。もう一度戦って白黒はっきりさせろ。こいつもそれなりに鍛えていたようだな。そうでなくてはつまらん。今までに見たことのない戦い方だったが、奴は何者なんだ。合体なんて二度とするか。
Hello! Did you know that you can stay up to date with the latest Dragon Ball content by simply subscribing to UnrealEntGaming? Also, don't forget to follow on these social media platforms, you sexy son of a bitch. Roshi. Silent Cell. Me and the fans are having a moment. That's right. I know what you want. Extra long, thick Dragon Ball content. Quality reviews with flawless editing. Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You dirty bitch. Roshi, the fuck? God damn it, I need them to subscribe, Cell. And we're demonetized. Yeah, screw it. Let's cut to the video.